The greatest podcast for elite losers, a.k.a. the J.J. Liberman Hour, a.k.a. I think we're going back to the Cum Dump Hour because those views have done the best out of all the working titles. So welcome. And this is a emergency broadcast because we usually record this on Thursdays, release it Fridays, but today is Wednesday. And we're going to release it Thursday because I was brought to attention, actually, I think first by you, Lejean, that there was an incident that happened. I think it was Monday. It was either Monday. Sorry, my dogs.
The incident happened on January 11th in Arizona by a man named Nautica Malone.
Okay, so Nautica Malone, and if you don't know what is going on, Goonicide is trending. Basically, some guy who is part of the Gooner community unalived himself after. Well, you want to read the whole thing? This is why, and maybe we can even put the article like right here.
Yeah. So the guy was seen in a viral video where he was going up. There's a coffee shop in Arizona called Bikini Beans Coffee Drive-thru.
By the way, I think it's by ASU if you want to Google that.
Yes, in Tempe.
It is?
Just
okay.
right by it.
Dude, I've been there. So when I was there doing Tempe Improv a year and a half ago, coffee sucks. But I will say the one thing I do remember like some hot college chick working the drive-thru because I think I had to walk through. I think it's only a walk-through.
He was driving through, but I think it's only a drive-through.
That's what I mean. I think it's only a drive-through, and you can also walk through as well. So continue on. I do remember this. That's amazing. I didn't even look it up, and let the record show that I have not looked much into this because I wanted to be as in the moment as possible and not have I didn't want to have time to self-reflect as a fellow Gooner. So go on.
Yeah, so he had driven through the drive-thru for his third time that day.
And his name was Nautica?
Yeah, Nautica.
Doesn't say race? We know not white.
No, not white. It was his third time, and
Third time driving through.
And so the video, she walks up, and she's like, "Sir?" And he's like, big smile on his face,
good,
dick in hand, and you see the camera pan, and you can kind of see it in his hand. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and he goes like, "Oh!" and panics and just drives off, cuts off a car, whips out of there, drives to a Goodyear, like a tire shop, and kills himself there.
How?
Shoots himself in the head with a gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get really into this, I'm like very pro Gooner community. But you can't be public gooning. Now, if you're in a state park, this is like, I think, an exception, or you're in like a trailer park, or you're in some kind of park, and you can see other things going on, like people are having like indecent, like public acts of like, or someone's like hot swimming in the lake. You can give it a little tug. I think that's fine. If you see someone hot and they jump in the lake and you have to shift it, and maybe as you shift it, you kind of bounce it a couple times, I think that's fine. Definitely if you're like camping at a music fest for 3 days, one of those like Lollapalooza things, sure, there's so many hot people, there's so much sexual energy. Public gooning, I think, is okay there. But driving through where people's play, no, you can't bring gooning into the normal acts of society. The normal society is a normal life. Like that's not Gooning does not belong in a 9-to-5 society. Now we can break the mold when parks, national parks, music fests, gooning, there are exceptions. There is a gray area for gooning when you kind of break the mold of society, but 9-to-5, that's inappropriate. Some college, you can't do that. I think that's inappropriate. Was there anything else?
So then they had after the Gooneral.
The Gooneral Vigil.
Yeah.
Which, I'll say this. Yeah, continue, and then I'll...
No, I was just reading more of the article. I mean, they were doing things like they were chanting his name, like they'd go like, Nautica, and then everyone would yell it together.
Cops broke it up, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
After just minutes?
Yeah, and apparently he had a wife and kids too. This guy.
Well, I mean, that makes sense why you goon. And also, if you are, you know this as a fellow gooner, as I look at you in the camera. If you have anyone around you, roommates, spouse, loved ones, family, a needy animal, there's no opportunity to goon. And let's be honest, gooning is in our blood. So what do? You're kind of forced into situations like this. And again, you should not be gooning in public or doing indecent exposure and exposing yourself to hot college chicks working at drive-thru coffee places. You should not do that. I get the need, but you should not do that. But if this was more accepted as a society, if you had roommates, if you lived with your parents, if they understood that this is a thing that's in your blood, you have to get it out, and there's no opportunity to do that, incidents like this will happen. I just think it's inevitable. It's unfortunate. I'm not condoning, or I'm condoning his actions. His public actions, but I understand where it comes from. I don't think this is just I don't think this is a gooner on the loose. I bet there are gooners on the loose, but not even. I think there's like there was a doctor in Toronto, a dentist who used to do comedy, Dr. Ron, Dentist Ron, and I don't know if you want to post that up, but he was publicly exposing himself to, I think, college or some chicks, which is so funny because you have so much money. And he used to show up. This is when I first started comedy. He used to show up to open mics, and he had so much money, and he would show up with, for sure, an escort, the hottest 20-something-year-old. And this is like an open mic on a Friday or Saturday night, or like, there's like 10 people in the audience, and he would do these club sets. Once a month you can do the amateur nights. He would do that and bring all of his patients, and he was actually pretty like crafty funny for a dentist, and he had like dentist jokes, but he was so much. And then I guess, do you see this, what happened, Dr. Ron Toronto?
Yeah, I'm also trying to find out more on I was just looking more at the bikini, their Instagram. They're promoting like the opening of two no locations right now, because I think this was probably some good business for them.
Oh yeah. Oh right.
They're opening. This will be their fifth or their sixth and seventh location.
The counter to that, someone should open a coffee shop that's, where they have like pro LGBT BLM signs.
Yeah.
You have a sign for gooners. Because I'll tell you something. If you open a coffee shop and you in the sign say pro gooner, business is going through the roof, because again, it's not just men doing this. One, it's funny, but two, there's a lot of chicks out there that love to just flick their bean for hours on end. Have I met them? No, but they have to exist. It can't just be men who are pigs. Go on.
And crazy enough, on their Instagram, it lists their founders who started. One's a girl, which makes sense, and then the other is like a dude, and his bio is filled with like Bible quotes, like Romans 3:23, and like girl dad on there, which is just crazy to have girl dad and like a Bible quote, and you own 7 basically nude coffee shops.
Nude?
Or not nude, but I mean in bikinis.
I don't think they serve in bikinis.
In the photos that I saw on the website,
the whole thing?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Okay. Take it back.
I can
take
edit
it back.
Some
This needs to be confirmed. This needs to be confirmed.
Look at this. This will go in the.
They're serving coffee in
That's
bikini?
them
Okay.
at the place.
Okay, so let's take this back. Now you see what's going on here. A guy's driving, wants a fucking. Hey, let's take this back. Honest, hardworking man, Nautica what?
Nautica. Give you a second. His name is Nautica Malone.
So, honest, hardworking man, Nautica Malone, wakes up, supports family, wife and kids, going to work, going for a drive in Arizona and Tempe, says, hey, man, I want a cup of Joe because my life is so hard. I have to support my wife and kids at home, and I work a job. I need caffeine right now. Goes for a drive-thru in Bikini Coffee. I walked through there. I didn't even notice the bikini. I did notice someone was hot. I go get the coffee. Nautica goes, gets the coffee. Sees, dude, life is hard. You've got a wife, a kids. You haven't rubbed one out in days because of the stress. You got some boss who's pounding your phones all the time. He's like, ABC, always be closing. You get your little Americano, little half and half, maybe a little sugar, which is disgusting for you fat people that like sugar in your coffee. You're gross, fatties. And he drives up and he sees this hot, what are they, 22, 23-year-old?
They all look just like college students.
College co-ed chick serving coffee in a bikini immediately without thinking, no intention, no premeditation to Goon. Blood rushes to his hammer. What's a guy gonna do? He's most likely in the moment, you're not thinking blood's rushed down to your hammer. You just don't have the mindset to say, hey, put it in the spank bank, go home, wife and kids go to sleep, bust a nut. He drives through. He's rubbing one out. This man was, I think, overly tired. He made, when you're tired, you make mistakes. I watch videos on pilots all the time, and the accidents always happen because they're flying the red eyes, the overnight, the Juju plane from Korea. That was an overnight plane. That was a red eye. Accidents happen when people get tired, and there's basically, I think we solved the case. And again, don't jerk off in public, but this makes sense.
This is entrapment.
What's entrapment?
Where like they'll have like a DUI checkpoint set up outside a bar, and there's only one way out, so you have to go through.
Right.
They're
set up.
Well, yeah, they're setting them up because,
dude,
in this promo video, it's an older video, and it has them they're wearing COVID masks, but also they're in bikinis.
Oh, crazy!
Which is wild.
Yeah, kind of hot too because you don't have to see the pig's face. I'll tell you something. They used to do. I used to get my escorts off Craigslist. I used to do that, and they would set up these Craigslist stings, and they would take that. You'd get busted. Not me. I haven't been busted for a Craigslist sting. I was. If Craigslist still allowed escort ads, I was on a path to get busted. As they would post a picture of the Johns. And they would post pictures of guys, Syracuse Craigslist prostitutes sting. Oh, God. And it's one thing in a town like Toronto, but in a town like Syracuse, where everybody knows who you are, the janitor at the college just got, he just wanted to bust a nut. So they used to set up those things. I used to go see escorts. And make sure you tell me when there's 5 minutes, by the way. Sorry to be so pushy, because we just did AVN. And this was like, but again, this is an emergency.
7 minutes till 20
7 minutes. Okay. Yeah. This was an emergency broadcast. But I would go get escorts. And let me tell you about the best thing about getting an escort. I would a lot of the time be stoned because this is when I first started getting high. So I would pop an edible. So already I'm paranoid. Plus going up to some escort's place, an apartment. You didn't know if this was a cop, right? Not everyone had Twitter. And banging on the door, my heart would be racing. As soon as they opened the door and I realized, oh, I'm not getting arrested for this, I knew it was like a 15-20% possibility that I could get arrested. Comedian wants a titty fuck, gets arrested, and I would have smiled in my mugshot. I don't give a fuck. Then beat the shit out of me. I'm smiling. I'm not going to have the I'm guilty face. But yeah, I would always, as soon as the door would open, the relief knowing that it wasn't a sting was almost like busting the first nut, and everything else was gravy. Everything was icing on the cake or the tits. But yeah, so I think that's it. Anything we want to add?
No. Did you want to talk about the AVNs?
Yeah, no, but I meant to this situation.
No, I couldn't really find anything else. I was trying to look up some even like Craigslist sting things if I could find any reports, but
Nothing on no actual pictures.
no.
Craigslist prostitution.
It
Sting
just takes
Syracuse?
me to a bunch of like, hey, are you looking for a
Oh
prostitute
wow,
on Craigslist?
you little fucking pervert! I hope your wife sees that. By the way, I just took off my hernia belt and an ice pack while recording the podcast. This is an emergency broadcast podcast. We have to do that right after the gym. So finally, what we were gonna do, and by the way, let's name this Goon but Not Forgotten. Pretty good. I'll be honest with you. This is the only advantage of having a lot of sick human beings as followers is they'll send me these things. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're doing my work for me.
I was
now.
excited to see you. I was like, did you hear about the Goon roll? Like,
Oh,
you were
yeah,
the
you
number one person to talk to about it when I found out about it.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I wish I was the number one. I wish it was like a situation like, hey, we're doing an emergency broadcast system because the Senate is questioning Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about his assigned whatever cabinet seat. That would be if I was that guy, the number one guy for that, we'd be making a lot of money. So the last thing, so what I did want to talk about, Goon but Not Forgotten, will be the main thing. But we did AV End. And also another thing that you hit me up about, our content. So we got a free press pass, which will never happen again. People are not happy. Went to shoot some content with the amazing Alexis Fox. So porn is an interesting thing. There's a lot of people in the industry who, like, what is that expression? They take the piss and vinegar out of it. Like, it's fun, right? It's,
yeah, like they take themselves too seriously.
no, but people who don't. But then there are people who take themselves way too seriously, and that makes it no fun. That's what's great about Brazzers. So there's like the main Brazzers actually is the whole thing. It's like it's a funny thing, right? Where like the Vixen, the new one, it's like a very serious thing, and then you have everyone else who takes it so seriously. So I made a post about what Brazzers was. All the top, like Angela White, Alexis Fox, Something Monroe, like all these top sexy chicks, they were doing this big get together, and everyone was there taking pictures. This was the main room. There was so many people, thousands of people there, hundreds of like porn stars. Took over the all Virgin Hotel in Vegas. It was honestly amazing. It was incredible. It was the gathering of the Gooners, like the ICP, the gathering of the Juggalos. This was the gathering of the Gooners and also the whores. And so I'm making videos. I'm having a good time. I thought people would like this. I made one video that as everyone goes on for the Browser stage, everyone's filming, everyone's taking pictures. And in the moment, I'm like, this is great. Look at all these guys. And I just started filming, you're a Gooner, you're a Gooner, you're a Gooner. I posted online. Immediately did 1 million views on my Instagram within a few hours, which I've never had before. And then I'm getting messages from you, from everyone. People I'm trying to fuck, porn stars. And someone took the video, put it on Twitter. It's done 20 million on Twitter and other meme pages. But on the one that went on Twitter, there are so many porn stars in there. It's like Lily Phillips is in, like big porn stars are commenting on this. And half of them are mad, half of them are laughing. But it's just crazy. And then that's where another video that went viral because Dr. Lovejoy, who I guess is a sex therapist, publicly humiliated me, which was so funny because her whole thing is to be a humiliatrix. Like she's a dom humiliatrix, a financial dom, a fin dom, which my buddy said was so funny because every woman is a fin dom. But she went on there, publicly humiliated me, which is not my thing. I don't care. At first, I was like sweating. I was like, Jesus Christ, what have I started? What have I started in the porn world? But then I was like, after about 2 minutes, I rubbed one out. I'm like, this is actually kind of funny. But she like publicly humiliated me. And I'm like, lady, your whole job is to do it for money, and you did it for free, dummy. And but then a porn star wrote in, and I have the video saved. She goes, he shot a collab with me, and so basically there's a porn star in the comments who publicly like exposed that I titty fucked her on cam, and then she goes, he is a gooner. And at first when I read that, I went, fuck, oh my God. And this was in 2018. But then immediately I'm like, that's not a burn. Telling people that I'm titty fucking people on camp, that's not a burn. It doesn't hurt the brand. Not, like if people find out, they go, oh my God, JJ Lieberman has titty fucked a massively a pair of calcium cannons on camera as he held it. He was holding it. Now, here's the only thing that might get a couple shots in the side. It's like, yo, I nutted quick. When you're holding the camera and you feel it, it's like VR is happening. Like you're seeing it, but you're feeling it too. You're like, this is unbelievable. And they were quite disappointed. I probably busted a nut in a minute and a half. But even then, I'm a public admitter. I finish fast, and I like that. I like to finish fast. I don't know when there's guys who are like, oh, I love to fuck for 20 minutes, dude. It is weird. This is the sickness of men like me. I want to fuck for 3 minutes, but then goon for 4 hours. I don't know why. I don't even want to have sex twice. I want to hook up with you once, kick you out, rest, rehydrate, then beat off thinking about it for hours. I don't know why. I'd much rather maybe because sex it's just a lot of work. Like if you're sleeping with a pig, there's no work because you're the prized possession. But if you're sleeping with someone hot, ooh, that's when you don't get erections. I have slept with a lot of disgusting people, and I have never used a Viagra for those people. Never. There's no pressure. It's fucking T-ball. It's your T-ball. And I like you, but you're T-ball. I'm fucking lifting and separating upper decker shots. But, yeah. All right. Well, anyways. So, maybe we'll talk more about AVN.
That's crazy. I didn't know they were attacking you.
Dude.
But also, like, my whole thing was like, cool. Yeah, I don't think I respect you more now.
Yeah.
Now that you're titty fucking like that. That's just like a funny flex. Like, yeah, this loser, I let him fuck the shit out of me. It's like,
yeah,
you showed him.
But that's where they take it too serious. That's where people take it too serious. They're like, you know, yeah. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
that was the whole thing. So, anyways, that again, let's just, in all seriousness, don't beat off in public. I think we all are on the same page. But yes, also too, R.I.P. And all right, once again, February. If hopefully people see this, more than 150 people see this, and even if it's only 150 people, hopefully 150 people see this in Tampa and February 27th, Houston, March 30th, Tampa. Other than that, go follow the John, and you can, I guess, you can put it on the thing. I don't know if people see it, watch the whole time.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
What a great podcast. That was fun. Okay. Have a great week, everybody.